This is my reaction video to the Ravens' 42-38 loss to the Dolphins in Week 2 in Baltimore. An extremely disappointing loss, obviously. If you're a longtime Ravens fan, it kind of followed a familiar pattern of games from the last 20 years where, teams, once they decide to go 11 personnel and kind of throw the ball a ton, we have trouble matching up. And this team, we kind of thought was different, and we still could be. It's early in the season, so you can't write, we can't write our finish already to the season in Week 2, but we certainly looked like we had trouble once the Dolphins went with 11 personnel and just kind of started to sling the ball around a lot, mid third quarter, fourth quarter, getting outscored 28-3 in the fourth quarter at home. You can't describe how disappointing that is, especially with, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe we go to New England next week. Makes that game incredibly important with games against the Bills and the Bengals coming up thereafter. This was a wasted opportunity, clearly. There's going to be blame thrown around by fans and coaches and players and all of us, but in order for you to blow a lead, 35-14 at one point at home, two things have to happen. The other team has to become unstoppable. They have to score a lot of points, which the Dolphins did, so give them credit. B, you have to stop scoring as well, either through turnovers or just offensive inefficiency. And that's going to be a point that I'm going to talk about at some point during this video and maybe during the week. I think you can see some clear markers where we are just flat out far more effective when we're in the shotgun throwing the football. Even though personally I'd love for us to be an under center, run the ball, boot type team to prevent Lamar from having to go into the pistol and read the option and all that stuff. We appear to be way more explosive. Look at the big plays that we made. Bateman, Andrews likely only had 4 catches for 43 yards, but he drew 2 pass interference calls and was wide open on that third down where apparently there was no penalty committed, even though I thought it was an obvious hold on Patrick McCarry at left tackle. But in any case, we had guys make plays, and Lamar made plays. He was the best player on the field today again. At minimum, he was the best player on the field for 70% of the game. Of course, Tua did throw 6 touchdown passes, shredded our defense. I'm going to talk about some possessions, to be honest with you, and some turning points, if you ask me. I thought we took our foot off the gas pedal a little bit on our third quarter possessions, and I'm going to show our 5th, 6th, and 7th possessions. The stats are going to run here, and some pictures are going to run, which is typical for my reaction videos. You can see that Miami got 27 first downs and 550 yards of offense. Pass rush, I thought, was non-existent for the most part. Justin Houston played really well, had an impact definitely for the first quarter and a half. I thought he had another opportunity at a sack, maybe third quarter, on a bootleg play back to his side. But in any case, defense let us down. We can't sugarcoat it. Defense let us down. Apparently there was coverage miscommunications. You can call them that if you want. Look, I'll be honest with you, and some of you aren't going to like me saying this. Mid-fourth quarter, early fourth quarter, I said to some friends, like, they're just better than us. I'm sorry for telling you. The team that we had on the field today and the health condition we were in, trying to cover them, their offense is better than our defense. It just is. You saw the proof today, the way that, especially once Tyreek Hill came back on the field. When Tyreek Hill came back on the field and he scores 2 touchdowns in the next 4.5 minutes or something like that, that told me all I needed to know. There's certain coverages we just can't play against them. It took Wink Martindale 3 games against the Chiefs to learn that lesson. You guys remember that? It took until week 2 of 2021, last year, before Wink Martindale understood. There's certain coverages I cannot play against Tyreek Hill. I don't think Mike Macdonald has learned that lesson yet. He did today, hopefully, because Tyreek Hill destroyed us. Jalen Waddle obviously, gave us hell too. 19 targets. That's insane. It's kind of hard to believe that we let Tua tear us up like that. 6 touchdowns, outscore us 28-3 in the fourth quarter. Really one-sided gameplay in the second half. And it looked like to me we went away from attacking offensively. So when I say that, 2 things have to happen for you to blow a lead like that, your offense has to let you down too. There's 2 sides to that coin. And I think the offense did. Whose fault is that? I don't know. I think it's becoming increasingly obvious, though, that the more we get likely, Bateman, Duvernay, what a playmaker Duvernay is becoming. The opportunities he's getting now and the plays he's making, apparently he left with a concussion today. Hopefully he's okay. Obviously, the opening kickoff return for a touchdown was unbelievable. He's a baller. Hopefully he's healthy and we've got him for next week. But don't want to see him out there until he's 100% healthy. But it's becoming increasingly obvious to me the more we get of Likely, Bateman, Duvernay, Andrews, obviously he was a monster today, and the less we get of Ricard, Boyle, and Oliver, the better. At least so far. That's what it appears to me. And again, I would like to be someone who is under center, running the ball, trying to establish the run. We're just not doing so right now. 11 personnel would at least get the other teams in their nickel defense. Who knows? We might even be able to run the ball better out of 11 personnel. Unfortunately, that means we might be running more with Lamar, which he did today. I thought there was a couple of beautiful calls against the Dolphins blitz zero, but once they put the pressure on us, and once it got to 35-21, I thought the blitz zero did the same thing to us this year that it did last year. I thought we just threw screens, except this time we were throwing them to Likely, and last year we were throwing them to Marquise Brown. That's just an off-the-cuff observation. I haven't sat and looked at the game flow, to be honest with you. I am going to show you some possessions here in a moment. First half, I really thought was like a college game. I even said to the guys in the Discord, I said, this first half is like a Big 12 game. Every play is reviewed. Ton of big plays, reviews on the field. The Ravens jumped out to a 28-7 lead. And I thought we scared the Dolphins out of certain coverages with that 75-yard touchdown of Bateman. And by the way, that was sick. Like, Bateman giving Howard that little outside shake and then bringing the slant back in. Lamar is just on fire. Who was the dude who said Lamar was like off target and poor mechanics and playing poor? I want to know who that dude is. I should have screenshotted his comment last week. But, perfectly timed ball to Bateman, 75-yard touchdown. And as Trent Green pointed out, the Dolphins seemed to get into a lot of soft coverages after that 75-yard touchdown. I think that made it 14-7. And the Dolphins' offense looked scary good on their second possession, kind of like a precursor for what was to come. Started back on like their own 3 or 4, after our failed, 4th and goal on the 1. We actually got 5 tries there. But Tua just started lighting us up on that second possession of the first half. He found Waddle on a big gain up the right hash over Patrick Queen. Then I think they go for it on 3rd and 12 and get it, I believe. End up going under center for a really neat RPO where Tua looks like he's going to toss it and then turns his back and throws it back to the backside to I think it's Craycraft. They said it was an undrafted receiver on a slant, so I guess it's just a design play action pass, but it looked really weird. Second goal from the 5, Dolphins go empty, and Tua finds Waddle on a tunnel screen, and that touchdown looked easy. Again, the Dolphins' second possession of the game, and at that point, they had just gone like 97 yards. It's 7-all, and I said to a friend of mine via text, I said, that was too easy. Especially considering we had failed 5 times inside their 5-yard line. But then the Ravens offense just went scorched earth. I mean, for real, thereafter in the second quarter. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns on only 12 plays from scrimmage. It was just an onslaught of pass plays. I mean, Lamar was running occasionally. Justice Hill actually had a really angry-looking run outside on what looked like a read play for 13 yards. Isaiah Likely had a 34-yard catch up the right sideline. Andrews had a 26-yard catch that looked like initially was ruled a touchdown. Then they overturned it. And then Lamar finds him on a play action for a 1-yard touchdown to make it 21-7. One possession later, Likely had his 34-yard catch. Andrews goes for 10 against a really soft zone by the Dolphins. And then Lamar hits Demarcus Robinson on what looked like a slant against zone in the middle of the field for a 28-7 lead. And we're just in charge. And then I thought we really took our foot off the pedal offensively in the second half. And to be honest with you, the Dolphins just hit a gear that I'm not sure that we can hit. And so I want to show you the play rundown. This is the Dolphins' first possession of the second half here, okay? First possession of the third quarter. We're up 28-7. And you can see the down and distances, the yard line on the left. And some of this is inaccurate because I'm doing this live. And I'm kind of dependent on the TV broadcast to actually show it to us. That's why I get pissed off sometimes when they zoom in on the quarterbacks as they're under center. I'm like, man, show me the formation. But a lot of 21, 12, 11, so they're mixing up personnel some. Don't get me wrong. That amazing jumping catch by Gesicki. Can you believe that apparently he was out of favor with this coaching staff? They really seem to have 2 offenses to me. Their one primary offense is like, Number 30, the fullback, is on the field with some other tight end. I think he's number 81, and Waddle and Hill and a running back. Okay, so 21 personnel, but that fullback, number 30, is kind of playing that who's check role or whatever. I can't even remember his name. It's been so long since he played with the Ravens, but he's the fullback for the 49ers now. So and they're running under center stuff, split zone, toss, bootleg stuff. To me, that seems to be one offense, and it doesn't seem like Gesicki fits into that offense. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's not as good a blocker. I'm not sure. And then they had this other offense where Gesicki's on the field at tight end, and he's more of a pass threat. That was an amazing catch. Should have been reviewed, or do I think he was maybe out of bounds? I mean, it was very close. That's all I know. But that was amazing, and it was too easy. Again, it looked just like that second possession. So, yes, we did collapse, but there was some markers there for you to see, especially when you look at the second possession of the game and then this first possession of the third quarter, which I think was the Dolphins' 6th overall. Huge answer for them. Running the ball. Look at all the gains. 11, 14, 9, 15, 14, 13, 13. And then a 14-yard touchdown on 3rd and 13. I thought there was 2 times in here where we rushed 3 and 1 time where we rushed 2. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we were trying to double Hill and create some difficult throwing lanes for Tua. I get that, but it obviously just didn't work. So simultaneous to that, while they get their offense going, we collapse offensively. And you may say, well, coach, that's not what lost us this game. Well, it may not be what the primary reason was, but it was damn sure a factor. So as they're scorching us, as they're shredding us for real, we go, this is our 5th, 6th, and 7th possession, okay? Sorry, I was trying to load that up. All right, so you can see 3 and out on our 6th possession. That was the first possession of the third quarter. Miami has just gone down the field on us, so we get the ball with 7 or almost 8 minutes left. So we go 3 and out. Blitz 0 on the 2nd and 10. You can see it up top on that 6th. Actually, that's the 5th possession. My apologies. I was counting the 6th possession as the kickoff return for the touchdown. So really, this is our 5th offensive possession. So 5th, 6th, and 7th. So on the 5th one, all the way up top, 2nd and 10 versus blitz 0. We go to likely on a little screen. We get nothing. I just didn't think our answer to blitz 0 was really that tremendous. I didn't. Bateman didn't beat blitz 0. Bateman beat press man. For real. All right, so then I think Miami gets the ball again and scores. And then our 7th possession, it's 28-21. Then our 6th possession, the one in the middle of your screen. Again, those are mislabeled. We're up 28-14, and this is 3rd and 2, the QB power read. I have it labeled as QB counter read, but then they showed the replay. I thought it was a great call. It looked like they had 6 guys lined up on the line of scrimmage, so something similar to blitz 0, but not the exact same look. Lamar keeps it, off tackle play, wide open. I mean, huge running lane. He takes off, and Xavier Howard tries to track him down. Lamar, kind of slalom runs, and Howard can't make the tackle. So beautiful moment. And Lamar's just playing at an incredibly high level. That's going to be lost, I think, in a lot of the resurrection and going back through this game is how well Lamar is playing, how incredibly high level he is playing, and the price tag is just going to keep going up for him, for real. I think they should just sign him now. I forget who said it on Twitter. Said they should just sign Lamar Jackson right now before he goes home. Just sign him right now, because the price tag's only going up. So then we're up 35-21. And I think the Dolphins go down and score again to make it 35-28, I believe. I could be wrong there. And then our 7th possession, which is the one at the bottom. Now that first place is 1st and 10, under center twins, play action to Duve. It was not a 49-yard gain. The ball ended up at the 49-yard line, the positive 49 on the next play. So I guess that makes it a 26-yard gain. I'm typing this live, so sometimes I think I'm typing in the yard line column, and I'm actually typing under the gain column. So 26-yard gain. And I think we left plays out there on the table by using 2. I mean, I'm just going to say it. I don't feel like we're gaining that many yards with Ricard on the field. I don't. Some of these 3rd and short, 4th and short plays, it seems to me, Now, granted, the 79-yard touchdown run by Lamar, you can see in the middle of the page there, that's 21 personnel. So Ricard's on the field there. I understand that. I just think there's times where we're clogging up the middle of the field, and it's possible that our run game could actually open up more because it's totally shut down at this point, other than Lamar. I think our run game actually might open up more if we go to an 11 personnel team. So I hate to say this. I don't mean this to sound disrespectful, but I feel like um, Oliver, Boyle, and Ricard, only one of them should be active for real. And all of our receivers should be active and available to use. And at this point, we look like a team who's capable. I mean, we just scorched Miami's defense in the pass game. I thought Lamar abused them. I thought Bateman beat Howard multiple times. By the way, Bateman caught that ball in the fourth quarter on the 1st and 10. It would have turned into a 2nd and 3. They called it incompletion. That was a catch, number one. I thought Bateman also was interfered with on another play. He wasn't targeted, however, but they didn't call it. So I think at this point we should probably look at becoming an 11 personnel team where our tight end is, I don't know who it is. I mean, for real. But 11, 12 personnel team. To me, we're getting more mileage out of Likely, DeMarcus Robinson. Prochet's not healthy, so I can't include him in this statement. But Duvernay needs to be on the field if healthy. Likely needs to be on the field. Robinson needs to be on the field. Where was he in the second half? So, yes, the defense struggled. There were some blown coverages. Tyreek Hill destroyed us again. Somebody on Twitter said, I don't remember Wink Martindale's defense ever having a collapse like this. Well, no, because when we played Tyreek Hill and the Chiefs, we were down 3 touchdowns usually, except for last year in week 2. So, that's a front when people say that stuff. We never have defended Tyreek Hill well, except for week 2 last year when Wink severely adjusted his coverages. And if I remember correct, Tyreek Hill only had 3 catches for 24 yards in that game or something like that. Maybe even less yards than that. No impact. Other guys obviously had impact. Kelsey, I think Pringle had a long touchdown catch over the middle. So I don't think we're a broken team. I'm certainly not panicked, but definitely should be. I am concerned, and I think you should be too. When the defense is unable to get stops at all in the fourth quarter, to me, you've either been figured out by the other team's offensive coordinator, and I think we were, for real. I think we were figured out. Or you're just too tired and don't have the horses. That could be the case too. It really looked like, hey, they scored 4 touchdowns on us in the fourth quarter, right? Unless I am misremembering. 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, to me, that they're just better than us at that time. We were better than them in the first half, but once the momentum swung in their favor, we couldn't keep up. It was a race that we couldn't win. Do I think we can beat them? Yes. Do I think we can beat them by 3 touchdowns? No. They're just very talented with Waddle and Hill. And until we're at full strength in terms of a pass rush, because it didn't seem like there was much today at all. Houston had an impact, I thought. I saw Campbell in there one time, and I thought he got held, and they called it. Broderick Washington in there one time, and I think that's when they called the running back Edmonds for hitting him low. When it looked like, really Washington just, or maybe it was Pierce, excuse me. Pierce just trucked him, and then the running back's legs flew up, so they called it. I understand why they called it. I thought Washington was in there once. I don't know what the QB pressure numbers were. They're going past here on the screen, so I guess we could look at it as I'm talking to you. But point being, the pass rush was nowhere near what we would need it to be able to, affect Tua and his progression. Because to me, he was just getting back there to his spot and throwing the ball. I was surprised that they were able to just sit back there on 11 personnel in a shotgun and pick us apart. I did not expect them to be able to do that, even though they had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. When Tyreek Hill came back from that groin issue or cramps or whatever it was, he looked like he was possessed. He was running at a completely different speed even for him, and that's kind of scary. So they looked devastating. The same offense that I think only generated 2 touchdowns at home against the Patriots last week just destroyed us. So we should be concerned. We absolutely should be. We're not going to face a team that talented in terms of speed, maybe again until week 5. But the Bills are going to come to town, and they've got a really talented passing game, obviously. We got to figure out a way to get pressure on them without exposing ourselves on the back end. Offensively, we're at a crossroads. And I think we were kind of there last year. but I think it happened when Lamar got hurt. So it's also possible that they just go back to pistol option stuff when we need to run the ball. And I can't say that's a bad option. Like, let's rewind time, take us back to, 35-21, and we have the ball, or 35-28, excuse me, and we have the ball. If we need to get a 3rd and 1 or a 2nd and 2 or a 3rd and 2, excuse me, okay, I get it. There's not a bad option going in the pistol and having Lamar read the option. Okay, that's not a bad option. Better than what we did, which, I thought Miami proved to us that they could stop us in the short yardage situations on that goal line stand. Because remember, we got 5 chances to score there. We didn't get 4. We got 5 chances to score. We had, because Kenyon Drake got the ball, and then it was a loss of 2, but they called a face mask, I think, on Ingram, right? After the face mask on Ingram, we get a 1st and goal. Mike Davis gets 2 carries on like a Vegas, what I would call Vegas, like heavy O-line set, 1 yard, 0 yards. And then on the 3rd and goal, Lamar scores a touchdown, but they call it back. And I'm really not sure on that call. Like, in my opinion, watching it from the angles they showed us, do I think he got in? No. But I can't make that decision that's not how the refs make the decision. The refs have to have clear and definitive evidence that the call should be overturned. And in my opinion, I don't know that there was clear and definitive evidence. If I had to say whether I thought he got in or not, if I had to make a decision, I would say I didn't think he got in. But, I'm not in that position, number one, and that's not how the refereeing job works. They have to have clear and definitive evidence, and I don't think there was. But in any case, the 4th down call, the fumble, I believe that's the 3rd time we've been inside like the 2 and not gotten points on a 4th down in the last 2 years. It might be more than that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the 3rd time. Maybe it's the 4th. I'm going to tell you this, and people are going to disagree with me because they're going to talk about analytics. Analytics is crap. Like, you are in the situation you're in one time. It's not about what would help you win the game 83% of the time. You play the game one time. You need points to win the game. And in my opinion, we should have taken the points. And I said that in our Discord well before now, as it stands, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You take the points. You need points to win. They've shown you've already had 4 cracks at it. Again, that when Lamar went under center, we fumbled that snap exchange between him and Linderbaum. That was our 5th play from inside the 2 or somewhere around there. I forget where the play was with Drake. I think it was at the 2. The first play when there was a face mask on Ingram, which gives us a new set of downs. We end up going to 4th down. So by my count, that's 5 downs inside the 2. The previous 4 plays, the Dolphins goal line defense stopped us. They showed us they were capable of stopping us. What more evidence do you need to kick the damn field goal and take the points? So I'm just not sure where a 10-0 lead is a bad idea, for real. Especially then they come back and tie the game at 7. Of course, we get a 28-7 lead and no one's talking about that at halftime. I will continue to talk about these decisions. I talked about these decisions last year. Early in the game, you take points. 10-0 is 10-0. You take 10-0 at home. As it turns out, we might not have been able to hold a 50-0 lead. That's obviously an exaggeration, but 10-0 at that point is a serious double-digit lead with our offense and our ability to make plays. You should take it every time. If you have clear evidence that you're not able to convert in that situation. What if, let me ask you this hypothetical. What if on that 4th and goal, instead of Lamar fumbling, Miami had committed a penalty, giving us a new set of downs, 1st and goal from the 1? And what if we went to 4th and goal again? If they were unable to stop, if we were unable to score, they stopped us for, what would have been at that point, I think, 8 consecutive downs, right? What should we do on that next 4th down, the second 4th and goal from the 1? Should we go for it? Hell no. They can stop you. You kick the field goal. Oh, hold on. What if on that second 4th and goal they committed another penalty? How much evidence do you need that we can't beat them in that situation out of that personnel group? Which is related to my point that I talked about earlier. I think there's some evidence that we need to get out of certain personnel groups. I'm not being disrespectful because I like this guy. I'm very happy for the career that he's carved out in the NFL. But I think that personnel group-wise, it might be time to go away from Patrick Ricard. Heavy reliance on him unless we're going to use him as a running back. And you laugh. You laugh, I'm sure. But when he's in, we're generally using him to pass pro anyway. When he's lined up as a tight end. So if we're going to line up in 11 personnel or 12 with Kenyon Drake at running back, yes, if we substitute Ricard there, Ricard's just going to pass pro. Everybody knows it. Sure. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, but it's 3rd and 7 in those situations sometimes anyway. In my opinion, personnel wise, we may be banging our head up against the wall in some of these 4th and 1 situations. Are these things exactly related? No, but I think they're interrelated. Our personnel groups basically mean we might have the wrong guys on the field at times. Because when we had the right guys on the field, Duvernay, Bateman, Likely, Andrews, Demarcus Robinson, we shredded Miami's defense. I don't have the yards per play and all that stuff out of certain personnel groups, but I feel like the situations let's do it this way, the situations we're getting stopped on are when we go heavy personnel groups. That's the situation when we're being stopped. Maybe I shouldn't blame Patrick Ricard, Josh Oliver specifically, but it seems like those are the situations when we're unsuccessful. When we have these other situations where we are explosive, we're making big plays, and we clearly needed more of that today. You can focus on the defense if you wish, and I will once the All-22 comes out. Monday night, it will not be a fun night, but it's one of the things you got to force yourself to watch it, at least me anyway. I would offer to you that we got to keep scoring points. And those personnel groups, there's got to be some coaches in those rooms that are looking at the personnel group saying, hey, wait a minute, out of this 22 group, we're averaging 3.5 per play, let's just say. Out of this 12 group with Likely on the field, we're averaging 6.4 per play. We've got to do more of that second. I think that's obvious. And I just don't know why that's not more obvious to other people. Certainly not saying, hey, we got to cut Patrick Ricard. Hey, we got to cut this guy. No. I just think their role needs to be minimized. And quite honestly, it's also possible that if only one of those guys is active, or I just don't think 2 of Oliver, Ricard, and Boyle should be active. I think it should be 1 at this point. I just don't know what we're getting out of them being on the field together at all, given that our other guys are making plays. To me, it's like it's like in baseball. If you keep putting a guy out there, he plays third base one day and he goes 2 for 3, and the next day he DHs and he goes 3 for 4, and then the third day you put the regular DH back in there. Why? This guy's hitting the crap out of the ball. You gotta put the guys out there that are making plays. Bateman, Duvernay, Andrews, obviously, Likely. Yes, did he have a drop on 3rd down that apparently would have been huge because they picked the flag up? I suspect they just picked the flag up because Likely dropped it, but that's not the thing the refs are supposed to do. But Likely played well today. Drew 2 pass interference calls, had a 34-yard catch. Would have liked to have seen him in more space against that blitz zero stuff. I'm not a big fan of the screens. I said last year, that's not how you beat it. That'll be something that'll be a hill I'll die on. That's not how you beat that defense, is running tunnel screens, because everybody's looking at the quarterback and everybody reacts to the ball, and they got great pursuit to it. And I think that more evidence was shown today that's not how you beat it. I'll do a video this week basically saying, like, hey, what are we doing? Why are we running the same concepts we ran last year at Marquise Brown that didn't work? In any case, look, if you guys have listened this long, I'm not on the cliff like a lot of people are. It's a loss. It's a bad loss, a real bad loss. It's an opportunity to be 2-0, go to New England, and get off to a great start. I don't think New England looks great, but in hindsight, I mean, they went down to Miami and held this offense to 2 touchdowns. Look what this offense did to us today. So, they say MMA math doesn't work. NFL math doesn't work either. Just because the Patriots defense shut down or held them to 2 touchdowns, doesn't mean that, their defense is going to do that to us or that our defense can't stop them. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is a bad loss, especially now that I believe we're going to New England, right? And then we got the Bills at home. And I think the Bengals at home, right? You lose at New England, and you're staring 1-3 or 1-4 in the face. That's a rough start. So I think the coaching staff's got some real decisions to make this week, and I would end it with this. What did the Dolphins do today? What did the Dolphins do? Now, they did come out in the 3rd quarter, and they did run, quote, their offense. They run their center, and they were running the ball some. But in the 4th quarter, they went 11 personnel, and they threw the ball. They threw the ball around. And Lamar can do that. Like, Like, are we past the point where people say Lamar can't do that? I mean, come on. Look at what he did today. So you have to have multiple methods of attacking a problem. If your first answer isn't working, 21 personnel, run the ball, whatever, 22 personnel, run the ball. If those situations aren't working, stop putting yourself in those situations. It's almost the opposite of last year when being more conservative would have helped us win games, but I felt like this was a situation where we needed to throw the ball and try to attack and score. And I thought on that 4th and 5th and 6th possession that I showed you and talked about at length, I thought we did not attack enough. Now, granted, on that 3rd and 2, Lamar busts a 79-yard touchdown run. That's because he's Lamar Jackson. That's because he's one of the top 5 players in the NFL, period. Okay? I'm saying we did not attack with our other playmakers across the board on those possessions and on that 5th, 6th, and 7th possession. And I think that really put our defense in a bad spot, and our defense obviously couldn't close it out. Let me know what you guys think of my reaction video, what you think of some of my thoughts about the gameplay. I showed you a lot of data, hopefully. I'll post that up, I guess, as a shared document. People can look at it if they wish. Again, it's mislabeled. In the document, it should say 5th, 6th, 7th. I think it says 6th, 7th, and 8th. Tough loss. Really reminiscent of some losses in the last 12, 14 years where we had the lead and a team just goes 11 personnel. Well, it reminds me a little bit of a couple of losses to Ben Roethlisberger, where we're beating the Steelers and then they just go 11 personnel in the second half and they just shred us with the run and the occasional 11 personnel run concept. I'm offering to you that might be the type of offense the Ravens have got to go to because it appears as if we have the personnel to do it. Appreciate you guys watching the video. Forgive the long reaction video, particularly after a loss. If you have watched this long, and you think other people would enjoy this content, please consider sharing it on social media if you think other people would enjoy the content. Thanks you guys for checking it out.